Shalom Alaikum, this is the brother CHAARAWTAZA, GMSORLANDO, GMSFLoridaStudy. So I was just uploading a video right now, and it's basically a video, a camp video, and we went out and we was talking and teaching. And basically the problem always comes up of color. Now before I get to speaking on this issue of color in America and us teaching, I want to play these videos real quick. Alright, so what you're going to see in this video is you're going to see us out there teaching, and basically we asked the Edomite if he was a Jew, and he said yes. And then I went on to break down that he wasn't a Jew and that the real Jews look like us. Now in the first couple minutes of this video, we never mentioned color. Okay, I chopped it up because I didn't want the video to take so long, so it might look like we did mention color, but we actually didn't mention color until later on. The so-called white people were the first ones to mention color, which is the point of the video today. The point of the video is to show you that the so-called white man, he's infatuated with color. Okay, and when we out there teaching, we don't even have to mention color. They'll mention it first, and then they'll accuse us of being some goddamn colorist group that hates based on color, which is far from the case. We don't hate based on color. Now we do hate, but we hate based off of lineages. We hate the Edomites, whether they white or black or yellow or orange. Alright? There's some Israelites that are white. We don't hate them. We can't hate them because they're our brothers. So we cannot be a colorist group. We cannot hate based on color. So this is just to show that these so-called white people, they'll try to pin that on you. They try to call you racist and shit like that, which when they say racist, they mean colorist. They'll try to pin that on you, and they'll try to turn you to the so-called bad guy for their sake, so that they can hide behind that shit, so that nobody will find out their wickedness. Because really, the one that's racist or colorist, it's the so-called white man. He divided everything along the lines of color and hated people based off of their color. So they'll try to reverse it and point the finger at you when it's really them.
Is he Jewish? I apologize. You Jewish?
Yes, born and raised.
Really?
Yes. I was in Jerusalem 2 years ago.
But your people are not a convert?
Was I not a convert?
Did your people convert to Judaism?
No.
Never? In history?
No. My grandma died in Poland in the Holocaust.
So the people from Poland are from Israel?
Right. Yes, I still have family in Israel. Yes.
Are they from Khazaria?
From where?
Khazaria.
Khazaria?
The Khazar Empire.
No. From Israel. From
Zion.
Israel? The land of the Jews.
How did
the only
Jews
place
look?
we have a home.
How did the Jews look?
How? What do you mean how?
What do they look like? Every ethnic group has certain features that distinguishes them from other ethnic groups.
According to who?
According to anthropology. Do you study anthropology?
Hey, that's my
She
neighbor.
does.
Hello.
I think it's according to what
So
you
then
believe.
you know.
It's according to what's inside your
So
mind.
then you know that there's certain cranial sizes, there's certain eye socket sizes that separate different nations.
So are you trying to say that a chimpanzee?
I know, that's fine.
No,
stop.
I'm asking him, what did the Jews look like?
I mean, come on, man.
That's
You're talking about the cranial size
Well,
of someone that believes in God or not?
What was the physiology of the real Jews?
The physiology of the real Jew.
Yes, what did they look like?
So you trying to say they have long
What? You tell me, what do they look like?
They look more like us and less like you. What I'm saying is your people converted to Judaism. Your people were from Khazaria, a part of the Khazarian Empire.
What is your point of being on the street then?
Our point of being...
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not. We're talking about 5,000 years ago.
Because we had, after y'all went throughout the whole
Judaism
earth,
was thousands of years
and
before.
told everybody that the
So why are you
Jews...
talking to him if he doesn't have the...
She had a good
I
question
have a
right
really
here.
good question.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to know, if you have 12 tribes of Israel, how do you only have tribes that originate in North and South America and maybe some small sect of Africa? What about the rest of the world? You have Asia, you have Antarctica. Only 12 tribes of Israel. And actually, Israel is not one of these tribes that are in Israel, the Zed homeland. None of them are in Israel. None of them are even close to Israel.
Do you understand? Do you understand what the sign means?
No, I need you to educate me on what you think you know.
What I think I know, what I know, what I think.
What you do know, what you know, that what
Right.
you know
We-
as
we
theory, what
actually
you
know-
believe
He
your theory
asking
is.
you if you're understanding the sign correctly.
The 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
So I want to know why they originate in these areas.
You're here to educate, right?
Why we, for the
Why would you
curses?
just miss one of
We
God's
could tell what the 12 tribes
Okay,
derived
so
from the
Abraham,
curses.
have you ever heard of Ephesus? It's in your Bible.
Let me ask you
Yeah,
a
go
question.
ahead.
Yeah. We know where the 12 tribes originate from through the curses in Deuteronomy
Do the
28.
what? Just Deuteronomy. That's all you do.
Deuteronomy 28. And yeah, throughout the Bible, also you had a good question. The tribes are scattered all over the world.
Exactly.
But most of the tribes, we can tell, are in the 12 tribes. But due to the curses, we're scattered all over the world. So we can look like many different people. We can look like a white person, but due to the curses, we're scattered all over the world. So we can look like many different people. We can look like a white person.
All right, so as you just heard, the brother made a good point. He said that Israel was scattered, and that's why the tribes are in North and South America and some in West Africa. He also made the point that they can look like anybody, even so-called white people, which shows that this thing is not about no color. But white people being white people, you know, being how they are, she disregarded what he said, and towards the end you'll see they're just gonna say we're prejudiced and racist and this dumb shit like that.
Understand that, but why are they only geographically located in
Why
North
does it
and
matter
South
if you're
America?
white or not?
Because
Why does it matter if you're white or not? Why does it matter if you're white or not? Why does it matter if you're white or not?
Alright, so this is the first instance where color is mentioned as being a determining factor of anything. Okay, the brother just told him that you could look like a so-called white man and be an Israelite, and he's asking why does color matter? We never said color mattered. He said it. He's taking that stance. So this is what white people do, man.
those people, for example, those people who originate in North and South America, they follow the curses to the T's that's written in Deuteronomy 28.
So how do you
Now listen, from our eyes, being that we came to America in captivity, we lost all of our heritage.
Personally,
You have heritage. You have the Romans, you have the Greeks.
America sucks. Go
They
back.
teach you about that in school. They don't teach us about anything. So we have to go back and find our heritage. What do? We read. And we don't just read the Bible. I got a chart right here.
No, that's good reading.
Wait, hold on. I have a chart right here with anthropologists, scientists, and everybody else that tells you what the Israelites look like. We go through meticulously and looked up every culture because we have to discover our
I
culture.
just have one
Hold
interjection.
on.
You say we, do you mean you or do you mean
I mean,
who is we?
we represent.
Who is we? I need
We
to know who we
represent.
is. You can say you yourself or
Okay,
we
listen.
is. You need
Stop.
to.
No, he's
Okay, I just need to know who we is.
We, us three, and the
us
people
three.
like us represent the people on this sign. When I say our people, I mean Negroes, Native Americans, and so-called Hispanics.
Wait, let me ask you a question. Why not white people?
You don't.
Why
need
not
to-
white people?
Because you have your heritage.
We
Yeah.
have our
What
heritage.
is our
You have-
heritage?
And what about Middle East?
If you believe that
What was
yours
the
is
first? Wait,
true,
hold on. What was the first white empire?
The first
if you believe
white
yours
empire.
What was the
is
first-
True, why
Hold
I
on.
would
That would be the
consider us
Celtics
otherwise.
in Ireland.
See?
Black. That's
Now ask one of
very
these
big.
Negroes what was the first black
Very big.
empire and see
No.
what they tell you.
More so than
They will
anything,
not know.
You are prejudiced.
So we have to
Do
keep.
you know?
You are prejudiced.
I never said black. You said black.
Why did
No, I
say
said
black?
Jewish.
We were talking
You-
about the Jewish people. We're
I
not
never
talking about
said
you
black.
guys.
I didn't say.
No
I
one
said
said
we.
black.
There was Irish people on slave ships. I never said black. You mentioned
Absolutely
color.
there were.
We're not
Yeah.
mentioning color. We're
Exactly.
mentioning ethnicity.
No, I said-
Ethnicities has nothing to do with color.
No,
It's
religion has nothing to do with
it has
color.
everything
Ethnicity
that-
has everything to do with
What
color.
does
Says who?
negro mean right here? What does negro mean?
Ethnicity means the country of origin.
Is that a color?
You're native people.
Is that a color?
No, absolutely. Actually,
So
no.
how
you're
is it-
right.
contradicted
You're right.
what you
just
So
said.
you're
you're
right.
so
No, you're
you're
right. You're
mentioning
right.
color. We're not mentioning color.
Wait,
We
wait,
look
wait.
I
we
did
look
not mean
racist.
to. I did not mean
We look
to.
racist and
Jesus is a Negro. What
we-
would you translate this to?
we look racist.
Jesus is a Negro.
We
what
look-
would you translate
It's
this
for
to?
truth.
Look, we
I
look
demand
She's
every
bugged out.
I agree. I think you should answer that question.
Jesus
Why?
is a Negro. What would you translate this to?
Negroes are born in Bethlehem, right? Back in
Negro. What does it say?
You see this guy in the back? Who is that guy right there?
That's what
This is a
Who is
picture.
that guy? Matter of fact, not you guys. I'm sorry. Who is that guy right there?
Is that Jacob?
Any one of you guys back there? Who is that guy right there in the back?
Fuck, that's me.
Huh? This guy right here?
This is important. Oh, look. It's important.
No,
This is about to show you something.
You don't know?
What does it mean?
You don't know.
People don't know nothing.
You see that? That's Jesus Christ before the Renaissance. This guy right here is painting over the images white. This is why we have to mention color.
Right.
This is why.
This is
Our people,
2,000 years old right here.
our people do not know. Hold on. Because our people do not know.
We don't care.
So we got to come to our people and say, look, you see that guy back there? Who is that?
That's Jesus,
I know that. I'm not trying to put you out. So we got to come to our people and tell them, look, you see that guy in the black?
Let me.
That's Jesus.
Yeah, I'd like you to speak. I'd like you to get off the camera and speak.
All right, we gotta deal with one
It don't-
person, bro.
huh?
We gotta deal with one person, man. 'cause
It don't matter
I
to
know
y'all.
that
It don't matter to y'all. I know.
It's confusion, man.
It doesn't matter.
Can I say something?
Hold on.
It's all you're preaching.
Hold
Jesus
on.
is black.
It doesn't. I know you don't.
Color
I
doesn't
know you
mean
don't.
anything. Color is not a factor.
That's what you guys got hooked on.
Let me say.
You guys got hooked on that.
That's
You
it.
look
You guys
at-
got hooked on
Alright.
that.
Finally,
That's it, son, bro.
Good.
Alright, Akim, you seen the video? So you see these people trying to pin it on us to look like, to make us look like we're the colorers, or we're just teaching color and this, that, and the other. But in all actuality, the whole focus of their mind is to paint us in that manner, because they themselves are focused on color. Basically, the whole thing is it's the white wall. It's the white wall of superiority, or the white wall of protection. Basically, so that we don't teach our people, we gotta include them. And if they're not included, then all of a sudden, then you're racist and you're colorist and you're prejudiced. They just basically, they want you to include them in everything, so that your people can never know who they are. And that's the point of the whole white wall of fucking defense. Okay, so we're gonna look at the rest of these videos, because they try to act like they're not racist, and you guys are racist, we're not racist, and we don't think about color, you guys are just teaching color. And they do this to try to make to try to make us look bad, so that our people won't listen to us. And that's basically the point of it. So we're gonna go ahead and watch these videos, and these so-called white men, and they're explaining the whole thing of prejudice and racism and how it started with the so-called white people. And it's just a scapegoat, man. Alright, so let's watch that first video.
Have made out the case for the data on disparities, and I suspect, although I'll wait to hear from my colleagues, that the people on this panel don't disagree with the answer, are we a colorblind society? I suspect we would all acknowledge we are not, but I suppose...
So, the white man knows. These white men, they know, and they'll tell you that America is not a colorblind society. Whereas, when we on the street teaching, excuse me, I got a cold or some shit. But when we on the streets teaching, and we talking in the terms of this language that we have to speak to these people in, the first thing that they say when they accuse us of is they accuse us of being racist, because we're using color to describe things like black or white. What color was Jesus? What color was the person you call Jesus? How did the Israelites look? So the minute that we bring out an appearance of somebody, the first thing they think of is color. Okay? And then what they do is they blame it on us and say that we're racist for asking how did this person look, or how did these people look, and saying anything about color. But what you're going to find out is we cannot, like, when we go out and speak, it seems racist, which race has nothing to do with color in the first place, but it seems racist, or better yet, colorist, because we have to speak in the terms of a language that they understand. If we go out and we start saying Edomite this and Edomite that and Israel this and Israel that, which is the real terms of our language, they will not understand us. So we have to talk in their terms, in English. We have to use the word black and white, all right? That's why we say so-called Negroes, because they're not Negroes, they're Israelites. And we say so-called white men, because they're not white men, they're Edomites, all right? But so that they can understand, we have to use this low-ass racist language called English. American English, to be more exact. So then they, and then turn, because we're speaking this racist language developed in a racist culture, they in turn call us racist because of the language, that we have to speak to them. So I'm gonna keep going.
There's another great saying of William Faulkner which says, the past is not dead. The past isn't even in the past. The past is alive now. And we don't dwell in the past. We dwell on the impacts of the past that hold us back to fulfilling the great potential of our children and their communities today.
Exactly. So the past isn't just the past. The past is today. Because the things that happened in the past is what molds you, and let's talk in the greater sense, is what molds a society into what it is. My point in this is saying this. America started with slavery. Slavery started with color. They enslaved people based on their color. Blacks, as they called them, Negroes, niggers, all right, went into slavery because they were black. Negroes were inferior because they were black. White men were superior because they were white. This is the foundation of America, and every language is based in the roots of its people and the foundation of the people. So, when we speak this stupid-ass English language, and we got to talk to you in terms of the English language, it sounds racist because the fucking language and the culture and the people that came up with it are a racist fucking people. All right? So, like this so-called white man said, all right, the past is not just the past is now. Okay? Because the past is what molds you or a culture or a society into what it is in the present and what it is going to be in the future. There is no separation of the past, present, and future. It's all the same because it all molds you and turns you into what you are and what you are to become. All right? So I'm going to play the next video. This is from this white guy named Robert Ginseng, and the video is called "The Color of the Race Problem is White." So this is a good video to watch. If you should watch the whole thing, but I'm only going to play a part of it because I just want to get to the point.
Let's move to what the real problem around race is still today in 2009, which is racism. And here I want to ask what may seem like a simple and even obvious question. Where does racism come from? From what roots does racism arise? And I think that question also is a simple answer. It comes from white supremacy. Right? The idea that non-white people are inherently inferior in intellectual or moral terms from white folks. That's what we call white supremacy. Now, let's ask a simple question. Who came up with the idea of white supremacy? Did black and brown people come up with the idea that they were inherently inferior to white people?
Matter of fact, I want to stop it right here because that's a good question. He said, who came up with the concept of white superiority? Who came up with these concepts of white? Who came up with the classification of people based off of color? That's a good question. Let's go to this book called From Babylon to Timbuktu. This is page 21. All right. It says Johann of Blumenbeck, a German, and he was born in the year 1752. He died in 1840. So as you can see, this is this is around the founding of America and the so-called white nations of the world, or white superiority. It says this Johann of Blumenbeck, a German, 1752 to 1840, was the first to divide humanity on the basis of color. All right. So this is the man. This whole color thing is not something that we came up with. We're just forced to use this shit when we talk to people because we have to talk to them in a low state that they can understand. So we can never be so-called colorist because we're using your color-based language. Okay? All right? So let's keep listening to what this man got to say.
No, I don't think so. That's a notion that comes from the white community. Now,
Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit.
So a simple answer. It comes from white supremacy. Right? The idea that non-white people are inherently inferior in intellectual or moral terms from white folks. Right? That's what we call white supremacy. Now, let's ask a simple question. Who came up with the idea of white supremacy? Did black and brown people come up with the idea that they were inherently inferior to white people? No, I don't think so. That's a notion that comes from the white community. Now, when we talk about the modern conception of racism and white supremacy, we're talking about an idea that comes out of Europe about 500 to 600 years ago. It comes out of Europe just about the time Europe was doing what? Going about the business of subjugating the rest of the world, especially those parts of the world that were not white. So we can see that the core problem is not some abstract race problem, but the problem of white supremacy. We can see where white supremacy comes from. It comes from white folks. So while Du Bois was, obviously he was right in having to confront the way that the...
Where do you say white supremacy come from? And this problem of race, and it's not even race, it's color. The problem of color, it comes from white people, so-called white people. Okay, it's not something that we came up with and we, divided people along the lines of color. That was never so, and we don't even promote that shit. All right, not to try to fit in with them motherfuckers. We don't give a fuck about color. What we give a fuck about is blood lineages. We don't care about no fucking color, man. We care about blood lineages. Now, if you want to say that we're racist for that, then hey, go ahead. You can say we're racist. I'll tell you, we're racist because we go according to race, which the real definition of race, raza, which is seed, lineage, bloodlines, not color. But let's keep going.
Society he lived in saw him as a problem. He also understood that he wasn't the problem. And in fact, that question, how does it feel to be a problem, should have been turned onto the white people in his world. In other words, instead of white people asking Du Bois, how does it feel to be a problem, he should have been asking them, how does it feel to be a problem, because the idea of white supremacy comes out of their community, out of their world.
Exactly. So, let's go to Wikipedia, okay? Now, this is the term Negro. I looked up the term Negro, all right? It says the word Negro is used from in the English-speaking world to refer to a person of black ancestry or appearance. Negro denotes black in Spanish and Portuguese, derived from the ancient Latin word niger. This is why they call us niggers, which means black, which itself is probably from the Proto-Indo-European root nek, to be dark, akin to nok, which is night. Negro superseded colored as the most polite terminology at a time when black was more offensive. This usage was accepted as normal even by people classified as Negroes until the later civil rights movement in the 1960s. One well-known example is the identification by Martin Luther King Jr. of his own race as Negro. Now, where did Martin Luther King get this fucking term Negro from? Alright? Let's go down some. Alright, so here's where this term comes from. And it says in English, around 1442, the Portuguese first arrived in sub-Saharan Africa. While trying to find a sea route to India, the term Negro, literally meaning black, was used by the Spanish and the Portuguese as a simple description to refer to the people. From the 18th century to the late 1960s, Negro, later capitalized, was considered to be the proper English language term for certain people of sub-Saharan African origin. The word Negro fell out of favor by the early 1970s in the United States after the Civil Rights Movement. So we don't have to read the whole damn thing. Alright? Matter of fact, I do. It said, I'm going to read down to this, because this is a good one right here. It says, a specifically female form of the word negress, sometimes capitalized, was sometimes used, but like Jewish. See, when people say Jewish, they mean a woman that's of the tribe of Judah. Judah was an actual person that lived, and his sons and daughters were named after him, Judites, and then the Babylonians corrupted and they called them Jews. And then the woman was called Jewish. Jewish. Not ish, but is. So you see, the so-called white people, so-called white men in 1442, the Portuguese, they arrived in Africa. They start calling the people Negro, meaning black. Without regard to what they didn't even ask the people what they call themselves. They just start calling them black. And then they put that name onto us. So this name, Negro, this color, Negro, or you had this dumb bitch at camp yelling at us, Negro, Negro, what does that translate to? With a dumb, stupid ass trying to tell us that we're racist because the damn sign said Negro. This word was given to us by white people. By people that called themselves white. We didn't even call them white. They called themselves white. Alright? So you see like this word negress, they have a word negress, and they liken it to Jewish. There's no woman or man that ever lived that was named Negro. There was no tribe ever called Negro, but these white people brought us in slavery to America and named us Negro. And then in America, hundreds of years later, when we bring up when we speak in their terms that they created, all of a sudden we're fucking colorists, and they got to call everybody and try to say that, try to make us look like we're the fucking bad guys. Right. So let's go back to this video, and then we're gonna get back into some of the scriptures too. So let's review.
Especially those parts of the world that were not white. So we can see that the core problem is not some abstract race problem, but the problem of white supremacy. We can see where white supremacy comes from. It comes from white folks. So while Du Bois was, obviously he was right in having to confront the way that the society he lived in saw him as a problem, he also understood that he wasn't the problem. And in fact, that question, how does it feel to be a problem, should have been turned onto the white people in his world.
Exactly. So this is the dilemma or the problem that us out there teaching, face every time we go out and teach. The same problem. That they look at us as the problem of racism, and we're spewing racism, and we're spewing forth hatred, when in all actuality, the problem is not us, it's them. It's the so-called white man. because he set up all the foundations of this racism. Okay? And I'll get some scriptures in a second.
In other words, instead of white people asking Du Bois, how does it feel to be a problem, he should have been asking them, how does it feel to be a problem, because the idea of white supremacy comes out of their community, out of their world. So white people created a white supremacist society, and therefore, by definition, white people are the root of the problem.
Exactly. So, as the so-called white man, or Robert Jensen put it so eloquently, the cause of the problem is not you brothers out there teaching his word. The cause of the problem is not that the Bible is a colorist book. The cause of the problem is not that we're so-called racist, but colorist people. That's not the problem. The problem is, which is the main problem of the whole fucking world today, the problem is the so-called white man, his culture, his philosophy, his ways of life, and his language. Alright? You so-called white people, you started this shit. You created a culture, a country, a language that was based around slavery, so-called racism, or for a better term, colorism, okay, superiority, and inferiority, okay? So now, like the scriptures say, you sow, you reap what you sow. This is what you reaped. You can't be mad at us for going out there telling you, bringing out all of your fucking blasphemies of saying that Jesus is white and the Israelites is white. You can't be mad at us and call us racist because we're bringing out the truth of what these people really looked like after hundreds and hundreds of years going back from the Renaissance, that you covered it up and told everybody that they were white to spew out your fucking white supremacy. The problem is not the information that we're bringing out, or not us. The problem is you, Mr. So-called white man. It's you and your culture, your philosophy, ideology. It's you. You can't be mad at us. As the scriptures say. Galatians chapter 6 verse 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Your history was founded on white superiority. You went throughout the whole earth conquering the dark nations. Not only did you conquer the dark nations, but you called them by new names that they did not call themselves, such as Negroes, black, and colored. Okay? You spewed out fucking white superiority, that they were monkeys, that they were inferior to you. And now when they come back and they uncover the truth of what these ancient people that were superior, these ancient glorious people such as the Israelites, when they come back and they uncover it to you, and we standing on the corners telling you that these people were black, you can't get mad at us, because you set yourself up for failure. You the one said that the Israelites was white, so we got to tell you, no, you're wrong. The Israelites was black. You said that the Fertile Crescents, the Sumerians and Akkadians, they were all white. So we come and we bring it to you like, no, they were all black, and we got the proof. And now you mad? You want to holler racism? You want to holler colorism? And you guys are just focused on color. But guess what, Mr. White Man? You reap what you sow. Your history started out with you plagiarizing and iconicalism, and you going throughout the whole earth painting over all the images of the dark nations, painting them white. So guess what? Now these nations, and I'm mainly talking about Israel. Now Israel is coming and throwing it in your face and telling you, no, the Israelites were black. Now you can't take it. But the scriptures say, for whatsoever a man soweth, the same shall he also reap. So now it's coming back to you. This is Job chapter 4 verse 8. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness, reap the same. So you sowed this shit throughout the earth. You sowed colorism, and you divided the. I don't know if I got that yet. Matter of fact, let me read it. I did read it. You sowed division along the lines of color throughout the earth. So now that you're being divided out because of your wickedness, we're not even doing the color, according to color, but you're being divided out. The Most High don't want your ass, man. Okay? He don't want you. You're wicked. He wants the children of Israel. Alright? So you went and applied all this iniquity and bloodshed based off of color. Slavery based off of color. How do you say it? Economic opportunity based off of color. Everything in your society was based off of color. So now today you're offended because we are telling you things that are based off of color. We're telling you that Jesus Christ was not a white man, he was black. We're telling you the Hebrews are not white, they were black. Now you're offended because we're speaking in the terms of your racist, colorist ass language. Okay? All right. You gave us tears. Tears, man. All right, we sold in tears, man. We that's all we sold in as so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and Hispanics. You gave us tears to sow in. We sowed tears, and we lived in tears because you told us that we wasn't shit because we were black. All right, you told us we weren't Israelites. We weren't even men because we were black. You told us that we were inferior because we were black. All right? So we sowed in them tears, man. And guess what the Most High said? This Psalms chapter 126, verse 4. Turn again our captivity, O Lord, as the streams in the south. Verse 5. They that sow in tears shall reap joy. He that goeth forth and weep, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him. So we out there rejoicing that we the Israelites. And then we got to speak in your language to tell you that the Israelites are black, man. And now you mad because you're not accounted as that number. Babe, you sow wickedness to yourself, so you're not going to be accounted according to that number. You persecuted the Jews. You persecuted, I'm talking about the real Jews. You persecuted Yasharallah, Israel, because of what color they were. And now you mad because you're not, it's funny because now you mad because you are not accounted among them. It says, therefore pride compassed them as a chain, violence covered them as a garment, their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Like we telling them some racist shit when the whole shit was founded off of racism. Verse 20, it says, as a dream when one awaketh, so Lord, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. Now because you went throughout the whole earth on this color shit, not knowing that you had leprosy, when the Most High wake up, he gonna hate you. Not as though he sleep, but when he come to save Yasharallah, which is now, he's going to despise your image. That's why when we out there, we standing on that damn sign of the fake Jesus, and you getting all mad because it's a white man, and we standing on his ass. Or you getting mad because you looking at the 12 tribe sign and you don't see no white people on it, as you say. Most High despise your image now because you separated according to your image. Now in your mind, it looks as though you're separated because of your image. Hey, the scriptures say that would have meant, be not deceived. Whatever a man soweth, the same shall he reap. All right? For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So you reaping all that shit back. Don't get mad at us. I mean, were you not the one? Were you not the one going around the earth calling everybody black and white, separating everybody according to color? Is it not written in the records that you were calling people black devils, yet you get mad when we call you a black devil? I mean a white devil? I mean, why would you get mad? It's just the terms of your language. Like, you classify yourself as white. Alright, this is from when I was a slave, memoirs from the slave narrative collection. This is actually from what slaves said happened to them. It says that white people would say to the slaves, in quotations, quote, "God bless you, poor black devils." So how can you get mad because you're being now called white devils? Don't you reap what you sow? Don't y'all got a thing what y'all call karma? Okay. So in short, you know, basically, you so-called white people, you can't be mad at us. We're just speaking in terms of your language. Okay? You came up with the term, you came up with the idea to call people white and black and to separate people according to the color of their skin. You came up with that's why when you go up to people now and you ask them about what's the nationality, they say white or black. What's their race? They say white or black. Race comes from raza, meaning seed. Nationality comes from nationem, meaning that your stock. Has nothing to do with color. But you so-called white people went throughout the whole earth with your English, Latin or whatever, calling people nigger, niger, black, and blanco, white. So now when we speak to you in them same terms, you mad and you want to call us a racist. Hey, it's your turn to deal with it, man. It's your turn to, like the Most High said, you reap what you sow. You know, so with that, CHAARAWTAZA, I hope this lesson edified you, brothers. You know, with that, all praise to YAHAWASHI. Double honor to my elders. My elders are GREATMILLSTONE. Peace and blessings to you brothers out there that teach in truth and sincerity. YAHAWASHI, Barakatam, Shalom, Akim.